When you're in a really bad place, it's amazing how much that headspace amplifies your recovery or gets you thinking deeper, and then you add the community on top. So it's really cool to take people who I've been in their position, take them with me or with us on these trips and see them have that same, realization that I had. Yeah. Hi, I'm Ed, and looking forward to another Kendal Mountain Festival. I'm here on behalf of Berghaus and Millimetres to Mountains, who's my charity, and with these lovely pair, we've got our film Alpha of an Ice Cap Crossing screening in about an hour and a half's time.
My name's Darren, here with Ed and Niall for our screening of Alpha this afternoon, and also just to be a bit of a rep for Millimetres to Mountains.
And I'm Niall, so I'm here with Berghaus for our film Alpha. I'm also an ambassador for Millimetres to Mountains, like Darren is. And M2M has basically taken over this year, as far as I can tell. Everywhere you turn, there's a new Millimetres to Mountains sign somewhere, which is a great sign. Ed, tell us a bit more about Millimetres to Mountains Foundation.
Yeah, so the Millimetres to Mountains Foundation was set up as a charity in 2000, and we effectively look after or support people who've been through trauma, physical or psychological trauma, and we use the outdoors and adventure to do that. Obviously, you guys are ambassadors, so you know what we do, but we take on 8 beneficiaries a year for a 3-year programme, so there's 24 beneficiaries in the programme at any one time. We've also got the alumni, many of which are here too, and we run community walks across the UK, which is there primarily to support people and provide a community for people that have been through trauma.
I think one of the interesting things about M2M is you're using the outdoors to get people back into their recovery mode, and the outdoors is an amazing place for that, but also it's the community that you get in the outdoors, and that's what's amazing about Kendal Mountain Festival. It's an enormous community of people that are all united by the desire to spend time outside, challenging themselves, and find that shared tribe, and M2M is, I guess, a great example of that.
Yeah, massively. I mean, we can probably all speak to the fact, having been through injuries, that like my former life was as a professional rugby player, so I had my tribe with rugby, lost that after having a spinal cord injury, but have re-found that with the outdoor community. And obviously there's the obvious benefits for your mental health, physical health of getting outside, but you're right, it's the people as well. It's sharing those spaces with other people, talking, being open and honest, and having a good time a lot of the time, which Kendal's very good at.
Of the beneficiaries, how many percentage-wise do you think were like you, as in didn't come from a strict adventure background already? So how many are discovering a new community for the first time?
Yeah, well, we've got a mix. So we've got a couple of beneficiaries so some paraclimbers, some people who were involved in the outdoors, and then they lost that after their injury. They got removed from that community, so they're kind of re-finding that community. But for many of the beneficiaries, they've never been involved in an outdoor community, or for some of them, any sort of community before. So it's really powerful, that aspect of the charity. Being around other people who have also been through trauma, so you've got shared experiences, people to bounce stuff off. All of a sudden, the things that you might get looked at being a bit weird when you're limping around, or you've got foot splints on, or bladder and bowel problems, they're not unusual amongst our community. In fact, most of the things we talk about is bladder and bowel issues. Yeah. So it's important. It's important stuff.
You must see people that have never really experienced the outdoors suddenly having this kind of epiphany moment as well, suddenly being outside in that community, seeing those incredible views, challenge themselves physically, and coming to a new stage in their recovery.
Yeah, I mean, I had that epiphany moment 6 years ago when I first went to Nepal after my accident. I mean, even first mountain I climbed in the UK after my accident in Snowdonia. It's like I was like, wow, when you're in a really bad place, it's amazing how much that headspace amplifies your recovery or gets you thinking deeper, and then you add the community on top. So it's really cool to take people who I've been in their position, take them with me or with us on these trips and see them have that same realization that I had. Yeah.
People talk about vitamin N, like vitamin nature, suddenly realizing that that's a new ingredient in life that we all need. Spend a bit more time outside, and you see the massive benefits physically, mentally, community, every aspect of it. And here at the festival, I think you're seeing like the culmination of that. You've got 15,000 people, or whatever it is, that are all addicted to vitamin N.
Yeah, and also, like, I think that it's just going back to our roots. Like it shouldn't be surprising that when we get outside as human beings, all of a sudden we feel great. You know, it's what we're born to do. We're not supposed to be in front of screens and in big concrete jungles. So it's kind of, you know, it's not actually surprising. But what is worrying is how detached we've got from the outdoors over the last few decades. And yeah, it's great to sort of tap back into that. I mean, also, it's like the barriers to the outdoors. There are still quite a few barriers to the outdoors, and that's something we're also trying to overcome with sort of Berghaus adapted kit. And it's more of that mindset shift. I mean, you know, we've all got spinal cord injuries, but Darren, you know, crossed an ice cap in a sit ski, in a wheelchair, you know. So someone at home is watching that thinking, well, hang on a minute, I can use both my legs. Maybe I can do that too, or maybe I can get outside. Maybe I can go for a walk. So it's trying to like inspire people as well.
I think the lesson for me from Alpha, from our experience on the Vatnajokull, is like as soon as you're willing to accept help, that horizon shifts. So for some people, obviously coming into millimetres to mountains, doing what we did, there's an element of you where if it was too early in your journey, I may have turned away your help and would have insisted that from day one I was on my own. And we probably would still be at the start of the ice cap.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of, like, you have to have the humility to accept that in the outdoors, particularly in an adaptive sense, there has to be a level of teamwork above and beyond anything that I'd experienced before that.
I think that's where the community aspect is really important, because we're lucky, we know the outdoors is there and we know how to access it. But for lots of people, it's something distant and scary and belongs to other people because it wasn't in their family or none of their friend group did it. And that's where M2M and Kendall and other things are just amazing at giving people that permission to go into the outdoors and then showing them how to do it and how easy it is.
Yeah, and that's the bit of advice that I'd give to someone who's scared of the outdoors or feels like it's too far away from whatever reason, whatever their situation is take those small steps. Like at M2M, we have virtual meetups every month that anyone can come and join in, hear other people's stories, and then it's just having a meetup where you're not even going for a walk, but we're just outside, like a wellness event. Then you take them for a walk, then you start looking a bit at hills, then mountains. Next thing they know, they're hanging off a cliff in Nepal.
Well, you've got a guy with a brain injury up Gran Paradiso this year and all kinds of just ridiculous things. He cannot possibly have imagined that was going to be happening a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And to quote you, I want to try and do it verbatim. There's a line that you say on the trailer, which is, from trying to do things that others can't to doing something that shows everyone what they can.
Yeah.
Messed that up a little bit towards
Totally.
the end, but it's so true, isn't it? You butchered it, yeah. But it's so true that, like, doing what we did, I think, shows others, like you've just said, what is possible.
Yeah.
And I love that quote. The favourite bit of the trailer was that quote for me.
And it doesn't need to be an ice cap. It can just be the woods behind your house. It can be the local hill or whatever it is. I went out for sunrise this morning, just a 45-minute walk out of Kendal, and it was the most beautiful sunrise over the day. It was wonderful. Anyone can do that, but not everyone knows you can do that. And I think what we're trying to do with Alpha and what the festival's doing, what M2M is doing, is saying this is for you as well. It's not just for the elites. This is for all of us. And
then with the help, hopefully, of the outdoor brands, are actually making it even more accessible, because not everyone can go wherever they want. You know, if you're in a wheelchair, for example, you know, there are accessible routes and you can search online and find those, but there should be more. And like the work we're doing with Berghaus around adapting kit, there should be more adapted kit to encourage people to get outdoors. So there's still a long way to go, which is exciting because there's so much more improvement to be made, and hopefully that dial's starting to move now.